All right, let's talk about something that every single Python developer runs into, usually the hard way. It's one of those hurdles that can be super frustrating, but once you get it, it changes everything. We're talking about dependency management. And I'm going to show you the one essential skill that'll save you from what we call dependency hell. So yeah, let's just dive right in.
You know this scene, right? You're juggling a couple of different projects, you're in the zone, everything's going great. But they both need the same library, just different versions of it. So you upgrade the library for your new, shiny project, and suddenly your old project just completely breaks. That, right there, is dependency hell.
So how do we even get into this mess? Well, the trap is sprung because, by default, when you pip install a package, it just throws it into one big global folder that every project on your computer shares. Now, there are some really powerful tools out there like Poetry or Conda to handle this stuff, but the absolute foundational, built-in solution that every single developer needs to master is Venv.
And this right here, this is the conflict in a nutshell. Project A, it's old, it's stable, it needs requests version 1.0, but Project B needs all the new bells and whistles from version 3.0. In that shared global space, you can only have one. It's impossible. You're basically forced to pick which project gets to work today.
So how do we escape? How do we let both of these projects live in peace? Well, the solution is to just stop sharing. We need to stop using that one global space and instead give every single project its own private, isolated little workspace.
And that private workspace has a name. It's called a virtual environment, or VN for short. The best way to think of it is like a clean, empty box you create just for your project. Inside that box, you get a totally fresh copy of Python and pip that has nothing to do with your main computer setup or any of your other projects.
Oh, and I love this analogy. Using global packages is exactly like trying to get work done in a shared, messy dorm room. Everyone's stuff is everywhere. One project moves the furniture around, and suddenly another project can't even function. But a virtual environment, that gives each project its own private, clean apartment. It can decorate with whatever furniture or libraries it wants at the exact versions it needs, and it never, ever bothers the neighbors. Okay, so that all sounds pretty great in theory, but how do we actually do it? I promise you, this is way easier than you think. You really only need to learn 3 essential commands to master this entire workflow. That's it, just 3. First up, we have to create the thing. So you pop open your terminal, you go into your project's main folder, and you run this one single command, python-m venv venv. What this does is it tells Python, hey, run your built-in venv tool and create a new folder for me right here. We're just happening to call that folder venv2, which is the standard practice. And that's it. Your private apartment is now built. But you know, building the apartment isn't enough. You actually have to go inside. That's what activating does. From that same project folder, you'll run one of these commands, depending on if you're on Windows or a Mac or Linux. This little command just tells your terminal, hey, for right now, I want you to ignore the main system Python, use the one inside this project's venv folder instead.
And you'll know it worked because you get this instant, beautiful visual cue. Your terminal prompt, it's going to change. It's going to have venv right there at the beginning. This is your constant reminder that you are now safe. You're working inside your project's isolated bubble. Anything you do with Python or pip now is totally contained.
And now for the final step, the whole reason we're here, installing your packages. As long as you see that little venv in your prompt, you just use pip like you always have. Nothing new to learn. The huge difference is when you run pip install requests now, that library gets installed only inside this project's venv folder. It doesn't touch anything else on your computer.
Okay, so this isolation thing is amazing for preventing conflicts on our own machine, right? But its real superpower comes into play when you need to share your project with someone else, or maybe just set it up again on a new laptop. And here is the aha moment. Check this out. If we run a command called pip freeze, which just lists all installed packages, while our vend is active, boom, there's requests. But then if we type deactivate to leave the environment and run pip freeze again, request is gone. Poof. This is the proof. Our installation is completely and totally contained.
So how do we package up this perfect setup and share it? We create a blueprint. We can take that same pip freeze command and instead of just printing to the screen, we tell it to dump that list of packages and their exact versions right into a text file.
And by convention, we always call that file requirements.txt. This little text file is the absolute key to making sure your project works everywhere. It's basically a simple recipe that says, hey, if you want to run my code, you need this exact set of ingredients, down to the specific version number. It just gets rid of all the guesswork.
Now, just look at how powerful this makes collaboration. A teammate downloads your code. First thing they do, create and activate their own fresh virtual environment. Then they run this one single command, pointing pip at that requirements.txt file. And just like that, in a few seconds, their environment is a perfect clone of yours. You can be 100% sure the code is going to run the same for both of you.
So after seeing all this, it's pretty clear this isn't just some clever trick. This is a foundational best practice. It's time to establish the new golden rule of Python development.
And a really important part of that rule is just keeping your workspace tidy. Just like you have to consciously activate an environment to start working, you should get in the habit of deactivating it when you're done. When you're ready to switch projects, you just type deactivate, and your terminal snaps right back to its global state, ready for whatever's next.
So here's the bottom line, the one thing to take away from all of this. Think of virtual environments like washing your hands before you start cooking. It's not optional, you just do it every single time. This is mandatory developer hygiene, and it's what keeps your projects clean, predictable, and shareable.
I really want this to become muscle memory for you. The absolute first thing you do when you start any new Python project, doesn't matter if it's big or small, is create its virtual environment. You start with a clean apartment every single time.
By adopting this one simple habit, you've basically just eliminated an entire class of problems before they can even start. You've given every one of your ideas a clean, perfect private workspace to grow in. So the only question left is, what are you going to build next?